We're on air. We're on air.
Yeah.
Superb. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to TATCHAT number 92 with Nick and myself. Um, I'll say hello to Nick first because we've not got anything planned, so I'm going to see if I can think of something, but we'll see.
Yeah, hi. We're all a bit last minute today, guys. We haven't got a topic set up. Both of us kind of forgot it was going on, and so apologies for being late as well.
Yeah, it's not that we forgot it. I literally we were talking about what to do on the chat, and then I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. We'll think about it. And I just got distracted, and then
I
that
was
was
thinking because half hour ago we had a little chat, and
yeah.
I
I
said,
was
"Here's
aware
half
of it.
hour," and I
Yeah,
thought, "Where is he?"
well, I looked at my watch at like 5:50 something. And I was like, I've still got a few minutes left. And it turns out that time tends to fly. It does have a tendency to fly. We'll say a few hellos. So we have got Electronic Firing Squad, Heather Treasure Pirates in here, Peter Cummins is in here as well, Chelsea, Karen, Malinky, Peter Ray, Kay Horsley's in here as well, Shel Staruni, Rubik's Falling on a Bruise as well. Hi there. BCP is in here. Bumcrack Picker. Etic 85. Peter Cummins says Z's late. He must be doing his hair. Vinny. Yeah, loads of people. Thank you. Scott Burrows. I thank you everyone for sticking with us. Jason Entwistle as well. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Yeah, we haven't, like I said, we haven't got anything specifically planned. But there's quite a few topics that have come up just generally, I think, during the week. And that I was wondering if we could just touch on and like have a little chat, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before that, though, I want to know
Sure.
how you're coping with a bald head.
Oh God, do we have to? I was just hoping to style it by not mentioning. It's a bit difficult, I suppose. No, Crystal Mace has to be Richard O'Brien, says Barry Francis. It's not bad actually, Nick.
Did you wake up the next day and look in the mirror and go, "Oh, who's that?"
It was a bit weird. I think the Z, you look like the Napster logo. That's going back a bit.
Yeah.
It was a bit weird when I went to just run my fingers through my hair. Like I did that once or twice, and I was like, that was a bit weird because you go into just, it's like a habit almost, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's no hair, so it's a bit weird. But other than that, it's it's just all right, really. I mean, I'm still just chuffed at how well it went on on Friday. Thanks for joining us as well.
No, it was, as I said on our Sunday show, it was a privilege to be there and witness.
It was just epic fun.
You guys raised $2,000 on the night, and
I know
it's still coming in as well.
Just it's just fantastic. And thanks to the reselling community, you guys in the chat, really, for letting that happen. Z needs head tattoos for the total thug look. Yeah, and Richard Hale says your head is on upside down. No, it's not actually. It's just, this is it now.
Down here now, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh gosh, Electronic Firing Squad has just super chatted $20. Wow. Let's get this party started. Thanks for all the laughs and escapes from work from Brian. Thank you. That is mega ultra super generous of you, EFS. Really do appreciate it, Brian. I'm glad that you enjoy the chats. I mean, that's one of the cool things about these chats, though, isn't it? I mean, we regularly, chew on the fat of reselling on a weekly basis, multiple times a week between both our channels, and then you add everyone else that does YouTube as well. It's brilliant to have so much content out there.
I do love the fact that we can just come on and just chat. I mean, obviously we haven't planned the subject matter particularly today, but it's great to have that social outlet, and the fact that we can provide that for other people as well is cool.
And the cool thing is as well, like during your week, stuff does happen that does like tick, it'll stick in your head, and you'll be like, actually that's something I want to talk about, because it's happening to you and you're not quite understanding it, and you know, like for example, this week I've found it really difficult to just get going. I feel like I've done an awful lot, like an awful lot of fussing, but with not much product at the end of it. It just feels like the last few days have been very much like that. Like I think I've done a lot of stuff, you know, like whether that be organizing, whether that be like, you know, sorting stock out, getting it ready to list, but not actually getting anything done. And it just feels really frustrating because you think you've got it nailed because just a few days ago you're whacking out listings like anything, and
Yeah.
then suddenly you just don't do it anymore, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. I mean, do you ever find that like you think you've nailed this and then
Yeah, definitely. And I feel that way at the moment because most of my days are spent filling boxes with FBA stuff, and I'm not seeing any reward from that yet. While saying that, some of the first stuff's already started selling. We've had some
brilliant
sales, but mostly it just means my eBay has slumped because I've been filling, and I had 10 massive boxes and I've got one left now.
wow,
And I did some other boxes as well. So I think I'm on 12, 15 kilo boxes done.
that's so you've been doing some work then. I mean,
Yeah, but there's very little payoff yet, you see.
I think that's one of the things people sometimes ask why I'm not into FBA as much. I'm very much one of those people that wants instant gratification. And I feel that with FBA, you don't get that, do you? I know you can do in theory
Sometimes, yeah.
because you can
Sometimes
send something in on a Monday and it will sell on a Monday. But for me, like the way my mind works is I think to myself, I can either put this stuff in a box, wait for it to get up to Amazon and then sell, or I can list something and it could sell now, and that's what always wins.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely playing the waiting game with this. I think I said in one of our other chats that I'm sending things up and I'm not even competing at all on price. I'm setting the bar, which is why it surprised me that 2 or 3 things sold instantly, including a SNES controller for 35 quid, just one.
Oh wow, that's fantastic,
and I
isn't it?
thought, I'll push the bar. I thought I was pushing the bar for Christmas, and it went the moment it got there. By the way, Jason has super chatted you.
Oh, thank you, Jason. £2 super chat. Pretend there are more zeros on this. I'm poor. Jason, appreciate it. Like I said, you honestly, no one needs to super chat. Only super chat if you want to, and it is appreciated, obviously. And just thanks for being in the chat, to be honest, guys, and for sharing in our weekly trials and tribulations.
Richard's just said, anyone had any good pickups this week? It just jumped. Hold on. Had some great ones. One was 20p and sold it for £75. Now that's the sort of flip that's impressive. Did you see my teddy bear? I was just photographing him just before we came on. Did you see it in the hall?
Wow. No, I've not seen. I didn't see that.
This was a complete punt at the jumble sale, but it's worth looking out for because it's Harris tweed.
Oh wow!
It can only be made on one of the Outer Hebridean Islands or something, handmade. And I'm going to shoot for 30 or 40 on it.
Nice. Wow, that's a lovely pickup.
20p, that's 50p, can't remember.
That's the kind of thing that you can only really get on eBay, isn't it? I mean, that's the kind of pickup that is so attractive about eBay over, you know, just finding those little treasures, isn't it? I mean, you always see in like the newspapers and things, you know, when people find things which sell for thousands of pounds, you know, it's great if you ever come across one of those, but you know, in your like 15+ year reselling career, you've managed to strike one of those items.
Really big ticket, yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's these that add up. It's the £50 ones. If you can manage over X amount of those a week or a month.
Yeah. So when you're going out sourcing, definitely that's what you've got to be looking for, isn't it?
That is where we want to move towards. We want to move further away from the £5-10 sales and more into the 20, 30, 40, 50 and up into the hundreds. And it's why I want to start going to auctions if we can.
Yeah.
But that might be how it evolves for us. I don't know.
I've got to say, it's interesting that even though you know, a lot of people would say you've got it kind of nailed down at how you do things, you're still always looking at different ways of finding stock, you know, like looking to adapt basically rather than just carrying on with doing what you're doing.
I think you have to. I mean, just today, those of you in the chat who do Amazon FBA, you may have received the email about the fact that CDs are becoming restricted. It was very vague, but they are putting restrictions on, I think it's Sony to start with, certain top
Wow.
selling albums. And I think it's only going to expand from there. So it just shows, I mean, that's a big part of what we do at Amazon is media. And they're already starting to impose restrictions on that. I know it's worse in America.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of keep pushing and evolving just to check that you can, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely. Otherwise, you can get unstuck, especially if you rely too much. Peter Cummins says, Nick Z, these chats really do help when you're plugging away, listing, packing, sourcing. It's good knowing that other people out there doing the same. Yeah, definitely. I think there is always that. There is always that side of these chats, isn't it? That you can just, whilst you're getting on doing a bit of work, as long as you're disciplined enough to work whilst doing it. There's been so many times I said, okay, I'll put this on and I'll carry on working, and I end up like watching or in the chat or
Yeah, Andrea manages to have YouTube on in the background and not watch it. If I put it on, I end up watching it. So I have to be quite strict and just put music on. I'm fine if I've got music on, I can just sing away in here, you know, at the top of my voice, and it doesn't matter. I'm not distracted. But if I put a video on, that's it. I'm lost.
yeah, I think definitely music is what works for me a lot better as well than doing than actually putting videos on. I think when I listen to music, I can focus a bit more. Definitely get more done. Electronic Firing Squad in the chat has just says, when will you be listing more of those baggies of hair clippings? Just want to make sure I'll have enough to make my Hagrid beard in time for Halloween.
Yeah. I was just going to read Subke's question for me there.
Yeah.
You said you're not competing and setting the bar. Is that from previous years' Amazon experience? Pretty much, yeah. I have faith that I can achieve a certain level. I mean, not all of this stuff I'm sending up now I've sold before, but I know how crazy it goes at Christmas. And if you can hold back until everyone below you sold out,
yeah,
you can set the price. Some also I use Camel to look at price history, go back to last year, see how much it sold roughly last Christmas and where the price peaks were.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is experience. Once you've done Amazon a few Christmases in a row, I mean, I'm only on my, third Christmas of Amazon FBA.
And you pick up little ways of researching and working things out, and you do just start trying new things, no matter what the platform is, whether it's Amazon or eBay or Etsy or anything else. You know, especially at Christmas, if something's going to sell, the best chance of it selling, I suppose, is going to be in this period, isn't it? Like the Q4 period. So
when you've had a few sales, like with toys and games, for example, where you go, you know what, I'll take a chance and I'll mark it up at 50. Just you know, whatever, and it flies out. That just gives you that confidence that you can do it.
Yeah, completely.
It doesn't always work, and you'll have things left after Christmas, but then, you know, it doesn't matter if you're managing to get a few of those big sales. The ones that don't pay off, you just reduce them after Christmas and sell them on
and get rid that way. I mean, I need to definitely do more of it. I keep on saying I need to do more Amazon, but especially when it comes to this time of year, there are definite benefits to it, and I've just got to make myself do it. But it's just really weird because it's like, even on eBay, like I've had some really good days of sales, and it still hasn't kicked me into doing like a lot of listing. Like, it's really frustrating. I don't know what's going on with me at the moment. Like, I'm in a bit of a funk, I think, where just like we've had some really, like, our past 3 or 4 days have been fantastic, like way better than they should be, if you know what I mean. And I'm guessing
£500 day, didn't you?
I had a £500 day on Sunday, and then we've had 250 quid days in a row, like today as well, 150 quid so far. And, you know, in a way, it's kind of, we shouldn't be having those days because the work's not been done. And no doubt a few days, maybe a week down the line, I'm going to be sat here going, haven't sold anything for the last 2 days.
Have you still been sorting the RC? Is that what you've been doing? Or you dropped that?
Well, no. That's the thing. I think it's gotten to the stage where I've listed a fair bit of RC, and I was starting to get a bit blind to it, but it's selling really well. But what I did to give myself a break was I listed a little bit of tech I had lying around. You know, when you've got like those 350 quid amps just annoying you by your feet, so you decide, oh, I'm going to list this because this box is annoying me, and it sells within hours, and you're like, oh, okay, I should have listed that a while ago.
Oh, really? That's amazing.
Well, that's what gave me the 500 quid day on Sunday. But even the stuff that I bought, I mean, this is crazy. I'm going to show you. What is this? That's a body shell for an RC car.
Oh, Formula One.
Yes, a Formula One shell. And it was originally 54.50, and then they were trying to sell it off at 27 quid. I had a couple of, well, just two of these, and I sold one without the box or anything like that, just the shell and the parts, and it sold today for 45 quid. Was it today or yesterday? Can't remember, but it sold for 45 quid, and I'm like, so I'm getting a lot of decent RC sales as well. So I'm kind of, I need to just get my arse in gear, basically, Nick. I don't know how else to put it. I think I just need...
Just imagine, like you were saying before, just imagine where you could be if you were hammering it still. It would just you know, it'd be exponential, wouldn't it? It would just be like,
yeah. I mean, it's been really cool that there's been days where pretty much all the sales have been from the hall, and that's been really nice. When you know, everything you've pretty much sold has been, you know, from the pickup, and that kind of makes you feel good. You know, makes you realize, yeah, you did pick up a decent bunch of items. And yeah, it's just, that's the thing. It's so easy to say, oh, just get motivated and just do the work, but it's not super easy, is it? I mean, it can be made to like look really easy, but the reality is it's hard. Like, anyone can say, oh, be motivated, oh, you can see the money coming and surely you got to get motivated. Saying it is one thing, but doing it is completely another. And like, further to that, like, I want to give an example, actually. Like, I watch a couple of RC channels on YouTube, like radio control racing channels, etc. And there's some really good channels out there. And there's a guy that's quite popular. He's a really good channel. And he decided randomly to put up a video about like how he makes his living, because, you know, people see him smashing up these really expensive RC cars. You know, just he has like the most amazing gadgets and, you know, etc. So he made a video saying, like, this is how I afford all this stuff, and I work for myself, and it's eBay. And, you know, he made a little video, and he's actually got like a course that he's selling. He's actually got a course that he's selling on how to do eBay. And the thing is, whilst he didn't say anything that was dishonest in any way, you know, and he was saying to people in his comments, you know, you've got to put the work in. I don't think you can put enough emphasis on how much work. I mean, the guy is obviously doing really well for himself, but he's doing well for himself because he is motivated and because he has worked extremely hard. And I think that's the same for anyone out there that's successful. So, for example, like, whether that be like the American YouTubers like Rake and Profit, Bonafide Hustler, who sometimes get grief for having like the green room, those guys, it does work. As long as you know, a place like the green room probably does work and does offer valuable knowledge to people that are members of it, but only if you do something with that knowledge. Do you know what I mean? If you put it into action.
Yeah. Well, the missing link is always putting the work in between, you know, any get rich scheme that's out there or whatever. And we've had the same thing thrown at us, like, why are you guys showing everyone how you do this? Like, shh, don't tell everyone, sort of thing. But not everyone has the time to put in, or has the work ethic that's needed, or whatever. And it's, you know, the information, putting the information out there is only not even half the battle, you know. So yeah, definitely any successful person will have a work ethic behind it. While I see the comments, people are trying to work out what these are. I did share these in the hole as well. These are Zog's floats.
Yeah, I think I saw someone say Zogs in the chat, actually.
Yeah, somebody probably saw the whole video. I want to say hi to Peter Ray, who's in the chat as well. Your CD is on the way. He saw that Michael Jackson double best of, and
okay.
Yeah, I've sent that to Peter, so thanks for that, mate.
Well, we're getting quite a few comments coming in. Loft stock is aged to perfection, says Electronic Firing Squad. A fine wine of that.
That was due to come down today, but we didn't kind of get all our work done in time. So maybe tomorrow we'll vlog us emptying the loft, because I've got plenty of space all above here.
Oh, that would be amazing to
Got a
actually
load of
finally
crates there.
see this fabled loft stock.
I'm not sure about taking the camera up there. It's embarrassing. But yeah, we'll do something hopefully tomorrow about getting the stock down.
Brian Moran says I'm suffering from Samson syndrome.
Losing your hair.
Thing is, I think I just wanted to put that out there because like with this whole motivation thing, and when you see people online telling you how easy it is, and if God forbid if we ever give that impression across as well, that it's easy, it really isn't. I don't know how else to put it. There are daily battles, there are daily battles.
I think if somebody watches both our channels and actually watches all our content, they would struggle to say we make this look easy. I mean, I must have said 100 times. I don't think actually motivation is my issue. My issue is using my time constructively. Always has been. It's like today, I did get some FBA boxes out, but I had so much more planned. But if I actually broke down the hours and what I spent in those hours today, it would be embarrassing. You know what I mean? I went down the rabbit hole of YouTube a few times. I just got sucked into things that I shouldn't be doing. Whereas if I was at a 9-to-5 job, from 9 to 5, I would be working. What I've always found difficult, and this is the hardest part of what I do, is staying focused and using my time constructively. I'm super motivated most of the time. I love this.
Yeah.
But I'm not actually very good at focusing on it and using my time constructively.
I think you've explained it well there. I think it's not that I don't love doing this and I'm pumped for it, but I'm very scatterbrained. The reason why I got distracted from starting the chat on time, believe it or not, was because I was actually fixing something up that I want to sell, and I thought I could I just realized it was there to be dealt with, and so I started to fix it up, and I just frustrating.
And then time just because you're engrossed in that, time goes, and that's what I do. I've got probably 10 little things on the go in the office right now.
Yeah. Whereas, do you ever look around and you think, oh yeah, I've got to list that today, and that as well, and that as well, and then by the end of the day, you'll have listed some stuff, but you'll have forgotten those things, and you're like,
this is how bad I am. I'll have a box of FBA on the go that I need to get finished, and I'll notice something, and I'll be distracted, pick it up, clean it, photograph it, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm halfway through an FBA box, and then that's on the go, and then over here I've got something that needs fixing, and then it's like chaos. I'm just not organized. That's all it is.
Tom's in the chat. He says, Zaheer, why do you still have that bloody beard? I don't know. I thought it was I was going for the Jebediah look from Iron Man, I don't know. It doesn't work. Electronic Firing Squad says so many folks don't view October as an important part of Q4, as many more sales come in November, December. October is crucial for prep. List it now, sell it then. Very good point. Yeah. If you, whatever you're doing,
totally our focus is all Christmas.
Yeah. And I mean, you could even expand that and be like people that have been grafting throughout the summer, like people that have managed to stay focused and consistently listed and grown their inventory throughout the summer through the slower months are going to be people that are going to now reap the rewards of that work. Totally. So there is that side to it as well, isn't there? It's something definitely to bear in mind. We've actually got 102 people watching. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm just going to go through a few more comments.
Commented in there, pulled out 50 boxes of video game stuff I've been hoarding for Q4. Staff have been listing $1,000 to $2,000 worth of it a day.
Wowza.
I was looking at, I've got the consoles from my big gaming hall sat there. They're going to go on soon. I've got a Mega Drive boxed, Master System boxed, SNES Street Fighter Pack boxed, Game Boy boxed, and there's Turtles NES, N64 boxed.
Wow, so it's just stacks of sales sat there. I mean, I think
The beauty of those things is though they're like
mm,
list them, they'll sell. There's
yeah.
there's no question at all that they're going to sell. Depends how high I want to push them as to how long they'll sit there. But yeah,
Are those all going to be sent up? Are they, or are you gonna maybe
I'm
sell those
using
on?
eBay for all of those actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think when you get to a certain level, I think with items like in terms of collectability and demand, I think there's a strong argument for eBay over Amazon, isn't there? Because you can appeal more and you can describe more accurately um, something to a collector,
yeah,
whereas you can send in a brand new sealed Nintendo 64 game to Amazon, and you can price it super high, but it doesn't change the buyer's right to open it, use it, and then return it,
yeah.
thereby diminishing its value.
More so is I've had conversations with Tom, who I think you said was in the chat,
Yeah,
about people on Amazon. They're not necessarily collectors. They're maybe not into that sort of thing, and they don't appreciate things like you buy a Mega Drive and it comes with an old RF lead,
yeah,
and you've got to have an old telly and all of these things. And eBay, there's exceptions, but eBay tends to be people who know what they're looking for and understand it a bit more. Amazon is that looks nice, click and buy it.
yeah.
And you get a lot more returns. And I don't want this stuff coming back. I want it to go to someone who knows what it is. I can take a picture of the RF lead and say, this has an RF lead. You will need an old CRT TV or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you'll need to know how to tune your television.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's my thinking. I think eBay is just a safer place for me to sell them, and I'll get the right person who knows what they're buying,
Yeah.
is what I hope.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense because, like you said, it's especially when it's coming up towards, Christmas time. You're going to be getting a lot of people buying gifts, and they're going to just expect it to work. So, for example, if someone's gone and bought their kids like a retro console gift because they've seen their favorite YouTuber doing a retro games
Yeah.
gameplay, and then suddenly they find out that they can't plug their retro console into their new TV, they'll just say it's not working or whatever and return it. Whereas on eBay, the chances are, like you said, you can explain that it's got an RF cable, needs to be tuned in. You need to have a TV with an RF input, and need to know how to tune to channel 36 or whatever it was.
People are getting so spoilt now. If you think about their SNES Mini, the NES Mini turns up with an HDMI lead or whatever they've got. And it's like people, I think, perhaps make the assumption, I'll buy that Mega Drive on Amazon.
The proper old one, yeah. And well, that's the thing. Like you said, tech has really changed things. So, for example, you plug something in to your TV with HDMI. Often, TVs now have the ability to auto detect the signal, don't they? So, if you switch on the SNES, the TV will automatically switch to the right input, whereas back in the day that wasn't the case. You used to have to know what was on AV1, what was on AV2, what was on AV3. So if you had Sky or if you had a VCR and you had a SNES, you needed to know which input and also how to get to it. I mean, I can't remember the amount of conversations I had when I was at Dixon's explaining to people there's a button which has got like a little square with an arrow pointing into it. That's the input button. You need to keep pressing that.
Yeah, totally. I was just reading, Vinny's in there. Hi, Vinny. He said, have board games been gated on Amazon yet? Thank God, no. But who knows what Amazon are going to do. There's a lot of peed off people today about that email. I don't think it's as drastic as that people were thinking, actually. I think they're restricting really big selling ones. And I think what's been going on, in my opinion, is that grey importers have been importing and sending stuff up to FBA, undercutting Amazon themselves. And I think the big firms like Sony are thinking, we need to stamp this out. Rightfully so, to be honest. You think of like the new Ed Sheeran album. If somebody's importing thousands from Eastern Europe, exactly the same, but they're buying them cheap, importing them and sending them to FBA. It's the big companies are getting their noses put out, I think. And I think that's what this is. It's a way of taking control back for the sort of top 100 selling albums or something. I might be wrong, but that's what it looks like.
And I think with Amazon, from my limited experience, it is very much about like you've said to me before as well, it's about making hay while the sun shines, because you don't know when you're next going to get a restriction, or when, you know, something that you were ungated in becomes gated, or for example, what can happen, and has happened to me a few times, is you send stuff in at the time of sending it in is okay, and then suddenly, while it's in stock, it becomes unavailable because they've decided you can no longer sell that item anymore. And that can happen, and you just have to kind of roll with the punches, and you know, get the stuff sent back to you and move on to the next stuff.
Totally.
Darren Smart says, I added tested via VCR, or if any new TV pickups the picks, or if my new TV picks up the console in my listings. So Darren's actually going to the extent of just, you know, confirming that the analog connection of his consoles is working.
Yeah, what I've seen people do, when you test your machine, like you're going to sell that N64, for example. I have a little old TV here. While you've got it up and it's tested, just take a picture of the console in front of the telly with it working on the screen.
Yeah.
That just instills that little bit of confidence that you've had it set up, it worked.
And it's going that extra little mile, isn't it? So many people don't bother with like a picture of it. Some people don't even show all the accessories that they're supplying with it, which is kind of, you know, funny, because they're damaging their own listing in that way. So yeah, to actually show everything you're supplying, and to show it working is definitely a bonus. And even little things like saying that it comes with the kind of official control pad, just confirming it's the official control pad rather than a third party. Or if you are selling it with a third party, just put it into the description that it is a third party control pad. Most people, you know.
Going back to Amazon, I sent up the last couple of boxes I did were loads of consoles. I am sending some up, but more modern ones that can run on SCART. So I sent PS1s in, I sent Wii's in, but with PS1s, they had an RF lead, but I actually ordered SCART leads to go with it because I know people have had issues with that. So I'm sending them up, and I'm taking a separate picture to put on my Amazon listing showing that it has a SCART as well as the original RF.
Yeah.
Most people are going to plug it in with a SCART, and they're only, I think there were 150 delivered or something.
And it just gives your listing that, you know, that it's going to give, you know, it's going to avoid, it's about prevention, isn't it? Really, it's about prevention.
Yeah, it's about confidence, because not everybody lists all of the leads that come with it.
No.
Mine says this comes not only with the original RF, but it comes with a SCART lead, and it shows it in the picture. So if you're scrolling through and you're not really sure whether you're going to get a SCART or not, and you know you can't run it on an RF, there's mine, pops up. Oh, there's even a picture of the two leads. Tell you what, I'm having that one. It's an extra tenner, but I'm having that one.
Exactly. And it does, you know, it's something that will help. I mean, I think just recently on one of my Amazon listings, there was a question that came up. We're doing a lot more Amazon talk than I'd have expected, but we'll go with it. But like, I had one of these like little you know, those plug and play consoles listed. Yep. And there was a question that came up, and I'm guessing it was sent to everyone on that listing, where someone asked, you know, do these come with the original packaging? And it's something as simple as that can, you know, just that little bit of extra detail, because often people, when they're listing on Amazon, become quite complacent, and they just think all I've got to do, you know, is just scan it in. I don't need to send any photos in. I just need to scan it in, and that's the end of it. I've as long as I've chosen the condition, you know, if I've said it's acceptable, they should know that it won't come with packaging. Well, not really.
No, not at all.
You know, it could be in acceptable condition and still have its original packaging, user manual, except it's just an acceptable condition. It's just not in very good or good condition. I think you've got to go that extra mile and say
you're storing up problems for yourself if you don't describe exactly what you've got on Amazon.
Yeah.
So the trouble is, I think, more that people don't bother to read it. I think that's an issue you can't avoid.
Yeah.
Definitely put as much description as you would on eBay. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Wow, lots of chat coming in.
Yep, just gonna have a quick pop in. Electronic Firing Squad says Nick, love how real you folks keep it. That Amazon Q4 fiasco, for instance, where you lost the ability to sell on FBA, was real and raw, and most resellers' worst nightmare. Oh yes, I remember that when you got banned from selling. Like they suspended your selling last
because they
Christmas.
wanted a bit of paper to prove
Yeah,
that Andrew and I were a partnership. So we'd sent them it, and then we said, no, we want something else.
yeah.
They wouldn't accept the paperwork we had. Yeah, that was horrible. And it was, I think, 8th of December, because it was on my birthday. They shut our account down, and we
Oh gosh.
spent the last month sending all our stock up.
All that it's just some
Funny
of the
look back.
stresses you have to cope with, isn't it? Halorian says, I'm new to I'm sorry if I've not pronounced that correctly. I think I've done okay. I'm new to the whole eBay reselling thing. Yours and Nick's videos are both coming in handy, teaching me what to look out for and how to ship things. Really appreciate you both doing what you do. That's a lovely comment, isn't it?
Our pleasure.
Yeah, definitely.
I just read Tom's Tom the English Picker. Amazon are my dickheads of the week. They keep changing the game. It pisses me off. Yeah, I think a lot of people are feeling very similar about Amazon. I mean, I'm pushing it, as you know. The plan has been all year to really push Amazon fourth quarter again this year. But we're going to reassess it after that and see where we go with Amazon.
It depends on how many doors they close, because if they start limiting too much stuff, like if too many brands start saying, you can't sell our stuff, well, I mean, you'd think that they'd also appreciate that they make quite a lot of revenue selling used items and used goods. So if companies such as Sony and stuff suddenly started to say you can't sell our PlayStation brand, they're only shooting themselves in the foot, aren't they?
Well, you'd think so.
Yeah.
They
Hello,
make
Monty.
they make so much money out of the used stuff. I don't think they're well. They did with Microsoft, didn't they? They restricted used as well as new.
They did, yeah. And the thing is, if you look over in the States, it's quite a prevalent thing, like you've touched on. I mean, maybe it's just going to push more people towards eBay.
Because if let's say for whatever reason I decide to not bother with FBA anymore, it will all go on eBay. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So we shall see. I think the whole game's going to slightly change. It will continue to evolve over the next couple of years. It'll be interesting to see. And somebody was saying, ironically, in there earlier that I can't remember who it was, mentioned that they see eBay tweaking things and slowly trying to turn into Amazon.
Yeah, that was Lee McCullen, actually. Yeah, my concern is that
and
eBay are slowly becoming Amazon. I hope they don't start to enforce certain policies upon business sellers in the future that are currently optional.
Yeah, because I think now is the time for eBay to be totally eBay, to be different, very different to Amazon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Amazon is being very restrictive, being very mechanical about everything and putting things in place in the way of sellers. I think eBay is going to become more and more attractive to people as they get, as Tom just said, really pissed off with Amazon.
Well, I think the nice thing is as well is that if eBay do decide to go down the wrong route, a lot of people are now aware of like the Facebook marketplace and Gumtree and whatnot, and the Shpox of this world, and even just things like Instagram and stuff in order to reach buyers. At the end of the day, we're sellers and we want to reach buyers. That the reason why we use eBay is because eBay puts us in touch with buyers, right? So if you can find a way of doing it yourself, so for example, if worse came to worse, I could always like start promoting myself as like the hi-fi guy or something, or the RC guy, and start putting up loads of content on Instagram and YouTube about that, and then start driving traffic slowly to those platforms. And I don't know, it's just all very
I think self-marketing and self-promotion is definitely going to become bigger and bigger. And it's not a daft idea when you just said, especially with the volume of your RC you've got, just to spend I don't know, half an hour a day just building up a little bit of stuff on Instagram, set up a Facebook page, call yourself the RC guy, call whatever, and then say, I've got these bits, send me a message if you want a certain bit. Here's
Well, the funny thing funny you should say that I'm
yeah,
actually part of like the international Thunder Tiger RC group, because most of the stuff I've got is like Thunder Tiger brand,
yeah.
and there was actually like a thread going on in like German or something, and some guy linked one of my listings because some guy was looking for a certain part,
There you go.
and
That in a
yeah,
nutshell shows how powerful Facebook and
yeah,
Instagram is at
I
getting you
didn't even
sales.
have to do anything, but I saw it. I was like, that's my listing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, cool, right?
I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
put Monty down. He's starting to wriggle. Say bye, folks. Say bye.
Oh, it doesn't look impressed.
No. Let me just answer Peter Cummins said question. This might be a daft question. What happens if the first Amazon sale you get out of a box is at the bottom of the box? Will the warehouse staff throw the other items in the box everywhere? Okay, it doesn't work like that at all. If, let's say I send a 15-kilo box of stuff up, the items won't go live on the website until it has been scanned into a location in the warehouse. The moment they scan the item and scan the location, then somebody can buy it, and somebody else comes along with that location on their little machine and picks the item and puts it in a box. So
It's little robots that do it, isn't it?
not quite yet, but from what I hear, the people are like little robots in that place, unfortunately.
Oh,
Treated
bless.
like robots. So yeah, your stuff isn't sold out of the box that turns up. It has to be logged into a specific location on the shelf. There's some really cool videos on YouTube about how the Amazon warehouse works. Actually, it's fascinating.
Right. Well, just kind of looking through the questions. Oh God. To, oh gosh, trying to find something to
I'm just reading.
comment on. Yeah. Barry Francis says, just had this thought. Did Z have to adjust the headband on his headphones?
I bet you did.
I don't think I did. Okay, so after scrolling through looking for an interesting comment or topic, the one I pick out was about head. Okay, thanks, Barry. Electronic Firing Squad says, let's hope eBay adopts the few good things Amazon does and doesn't adopt any of the bads. They can own this market. Amazon is alienating so many.
Yeah, exactly. I was just reading that myself. That's kind of where I was going before. I probably didn't articulate it very well, but whilst Amazon is peeing off all its sellers, eBay should be thinking, oh, there's a lot of unhappy sellers there. There's a lot of stuff that if we play this right can be coming straight to us. And I think it was Electronic Firing Squad said earlier, he jumped ship from Amazon a while back. So all his business has gone to eBay, I'm assuming. And eBay need to be proactive and say, look, Amazon is changing. A lot of sellers are really upset with it. They need to be inviting us in. And what eBay are doing at the moment isn't necessarily making things easier. You know what I mean? They're starting to impose restrictions, and I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. But I think eBay needs to take advantage of it.
And stop doing silly things like banning Rubik's cubes and or taking people's listings down for a Rubik's cube. I mean,
yeah, and these algorithms where if you drop a phone number in a conversation once, that's it, you're banned from.
Oh, I actually had a situation like that. I'm so kind of careful about this stuff that I won't even reply to someone that's dropped a phone number in. I actually had someone make an offer on something I was selling, like a die-cast model, and this guy is like in Belgium, and I countered, and then he's countered back, and he's sent me one of those really long, sad messages on how he's doing it for some like good cause, and he's working with these kids, and here's my number and you can call me and ask me any questions, but a really detailed and long-winded way of trying to get something cheaper than I want to sell it for, right? Which, you know, that's his prerogative. But as soon as he dropped in his telephone number, I was like, I don't even want to reply to this guy now, because if I reply, eBay's algorithm will probably somehow see that I'm in cahoots or something, and I'll be banned for a month or something.
I had a similar thing when I was trying to source those 2 cards for that Guess Who that thankfully a really helpful subscriber sent me in the end. I messaged the guy who had an incomplete one listed locally.
Yeah.
Him, and I said, well, actually, it had just finished, so I saw it on completers. I said, have you still got that Guess Who? Because I'm after a couple of cards. Can you let me know if they're in there, and I'll buy it. Are you going to relist it? This sort of thing. And he said, I've still got it. I've also got loads of other board games and toys and stuff. Do you want to come around and have a look? Yes, no. And he started this conversation, and I was happily going. And all of a sudden, I was like, whoa, I can't be talking like this.
Step back from the keyboard.
Yeah. And in the end, I said to him, very interested. Please relist the Guess Who, and I might buy it. I don't want to talk on here about coming around to look at your board games. Can you make a listing just showing me everything? I was so paranoid at that point. But yeah.
No, well, you have to be, because it's just it's so random the way they pick on people.
Exactly.
I mean,
banning these people and sending out these really short emails, it's having the effect. Here we are talking about everybody, be super careful. Don't even consider trading outside of eBay.
Yeah.
It's having the desired effect.
Andy Robinson says, if you believe most comments you read on the TameBay website, eBay won't have any sellers left soon due to their constant interference with people's businesses and their glitch-ridden website. I think
TameBay attracts people who are already pissed off.
Yeah, I think that's like the forums as well. Like eBay's own forums are like, they're full of stories of woe.
Yeah, because you don't hunt out a forum to spout your anger unless you have it. If you're having a great day and you love eBay, you're not busy hunting for a forum to tell someone about it, are you?
Yeah. So I mean, I can understand, because we've all seen examples where eBay do interfere. So for example, it's happened to a lot of us. I've had listings taken down for Vero. It's happened to a lot of people. People have been handed out listing bans, for all kinds. I mean, I think it's even as strict as, I think it was a Fake Rachel that had something like open to offers in her listing.
Yeah.
And that phrase alone, just open to offers, was seen as inviting like other ways of people buying stuff from her. That's how they interpreted it. She's open to offers on how on how to sell her stuff or something, and they banned her for that for quite a while. So
exactly. No, Peter, Nick is not at it again doing dodgy eBay stuff offline. I was avoiding doing anything perceived as even slightly dodgy. Telling the guy, I'm not going to message you anymore, put it on eBay.
And to add to that, I'm not heartless. I do think of the children. Sell it to him cheaper.
Think of the children.
Yeah, because it was all, he was doing it for the children.
Oh, it was some of those. I'm going to start taking little screen grabs of some of the messages I get there.
Well, this is quite a good one. I mean, it might even be true, but something. I'm just going by market values. I'm like, just. Karen says, I never go near the forums. Yeah, it's probably for the best. Lee Michelle says, I was selling coins, and you're not allowed to sell coins on eBay from Cuba or Iran. I had coins from these areas taken down, even though I think they still had categories for them set up still. So that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of frustrating ones. I had some.
Oh, no. Sale.
Let's have a look. It was a 40 PS1. So
nice.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I was going to say, I had some e-cigarettes taken down. I cleared Tesco of them ages ago, and the listing was taken down. The frustrating thing about that was, before I listed mine, I did my research on eBay. Hundreds of listings of them, hundreds and sold. At the time mine got taken off, still hundreds all over. Some of the same ones that were there before.
Yeah,
it's like, that's the frustration. It's, well, if you have this ban on it, ban everyone. Don't just ban me.
I mean, and the thing is, it's very important to mention this as well. I mean, I remember the very first time I had an incident with eBay, as it were, and it was actually when I listed Getopoly, and I'd only listed it because there were other sellers, and there were sold listings as well, you know, people had sold them. So when I had my listing removed and I was told, you know, given like that slap on the wrist, it was a big deal for me, you know, like I was like, oh my god. And I rang them up and I was like, you know, so does that mean you're going to go after all these other people as well and take theirs down? And you know, I was really passionate about it all, and I remember getting like that fob off kind of response, and you know, I felt really bitter about it. And I realized that at that point, it's just, you just have to take these things on the chin if they happen to you, because it can seem so unfair if you compare what's happening to you to someone else, because there are so many examples of people being treated unfairly. I mean, for example, just talking about your recent bike faux pas, I mean, you just got a slap on the wrist, whereas people have gotten bans for less.
For way less. I know. I mean, that shocked me. You know, I would have expected, going on Fake Rachel's experience, that I'll get a week ban at the minimum.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's little consistency, I think, and it feels that they're not being consistent in what they're saying. They're not applying it blanket across when you're talking to Vero stuff or about Vero stuff. You know what I mean? It's like they're picking a few out, and then you go on there and there's hundreds of other ones infringing exactly the same things. It's like, well, and then instantly as a seller, you're like, well, deal with them as well then.
And I swear to God, didn't someone else make a YouTube video about being banned from eBay?
I don't know.
Yeah, Craigslist Hunter.
Oh, crazy! Yes.
Yeah, of course. He made a video that, you know, and the answer they gave him was because the information was shared prior to a sale having been completed. Like, eBay would rather, if you're selling something for collection only, eBay would rather that the sale, that buyer buy an item. Like, say the argument is, say you've got a large bit of furniture for sale on eBay, or a really large item. Oftentimes, say for example, if you had it listed on a newspaper, you'd allow people to come around to view it. eBay don't even now want people to come around and view an item before parting with large sums of money. They expect you to press buy it now, and then you can, via message,
You can
exchange details. Yeah, and cancel afterwards.
Well, it's funny because Pete mentioned my video in that video, and I spoke to him about it afterwards, and he was saying that it has come to the point, exactly as you said, where you have to be that paranoid, where you have to say to someone, sure, you can come and look at this 20 grand boat
after you've pressed buy it now.
Buy it first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let me lose my insertion fee. Yeah. I know that's only small, but you know, still,
you can in theory get that back. But I suppose what you have to do is you say, click buy, cash on collection. If you don't want it, don't pay me. And that's the culture, I think, that's going to evolve from this, because everyone is now so paranoid that it's like, yeah, no, you can't come and look at it. You need to buy it, look at it, and then unbuy it if you don't like the look of it.
Yeah, it's crazy that you have to be so careful. But when your livelihood relies in such a large part on them, you have to protect it as best you can.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Peter Cummins says, do a top 10 sob stories. That would be a classic. It's not actually a bad idea, is it?
We should start a thread maybe in the TATCHAT group where when you get a, you know, will you take my £3.50 offer on your £15 teddy because my daughter's really sad and she's ill, or whatever it is. We should keep a series of images.
Yeah, I think I'll post the one I got. It's quite detailed, like, you know, with lots of provenance and evidence to support why, you know.
But then would we get in trouble sharing people's private messages?
I don't know. Could just change bits, I suppose.
eBay would ban our accounts because we broke some, you know, policy.
Exactly. Somehow. Krillin has just super chatted $2. Autos may be exempt, not confirmed. I'm not sure what that's to do with Krillin, but
looking at cars, maybe.
Oh, in terms of popping around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a separate set of rules for motors in general. So yeah, you may well be right there, but the UK would be different. So you know, let's have a look. Bum fights is another banned item. DVD series of homeless folks being paid to fight on camera. I remember seeing that when I was.
What?
Yeah, have you never seen it? Years ago, in my teens, I remember seeing this. Yeah, it's pretty.
Hang on. Well,
It's called bum fights.
They created a film where they just went around paying homeless people to beat each other.
It's not. It wasn't a film originally. I think it was like an internet thing at first.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, really. So it's not something.
Oh, Kirsten's had a ka-ching. What have you sold, Kirsten? Let us know.
Yeah, that would be cool. Sales, like I said, for us have been pretty good here. Like main store's been doing really well. So,
ours was pretty bad. We had a couple of really crappy days. Our store has turned into yours, how it used to be.
Random, like just random. Like that means tomorrow you'll hopefully have a 500 quid day.
Well, we had a no sale day, which we haven't had for years. I think I told you this, and it came a day after, I think, a 300 and something pound day.
That's just insane, isn't it?
And that wasn't it wasn't like your sale for a £300 down.
Yeah,
like
loads of items,
stack of stuff. It was like, and then nothing. It was like, what?
I've got to say, it's so weird. Like today, I sold full price without any offer or anything. Like a Next denim jacket that I've had for absolutely ages. Sold for 22 quid for a Next, ladies size 12 denim jacket I've had for so long. I can't remember how long I've had it for, and it just randomly sold today. There's no rhyme or reason, is there?
I love selling old stuff that you completely forgot you still own.
Yeah, I couldn't even believe of that sold. I was like, what is that? I'm almost expecting it all to be, Thunder Tiger.
Come in, where it comes in, you go into the item, you look at it and you go on the screen, what is that?
Yeah.
Do I own that?
Do I still have it? Yeah. Yeah. So
Kirsten says, Gary says I'm not allowed to say. What's going on?
Ooh.
What's up, Gary? Oh, yeah. Do not mention cutlery. Oh, shh.
Okay. Oh gosh. Yeah, we're going to talk more about bum fights. Andy Robinson says, with potential Royal Mail strikes ahead, are you going to wait for a group of mainly loud middle-aged men to reach a decision, or are you going to make alternative plans so any strike is irrelevant? That's a good question, Andy.
I guess for me, because 95% of my stuff goes Royal Mail, if it really does hit the fan, I'll have to use Hermes.
I remember the very first year of my reselling, I was like, I was using a service called InPost because they were doing like a special offer, and it was like £1.91 including VAT to ship up to a kilo parcel, right? And this service was done by CityLink, and I remember sending out a bunch of parcels like the week before Christmas, just before CityLink went bust.
They went under,
yeah, just before. And I remember being so stressed and messaging, like, I think it was like 16 people or something, that that their potential Christmas presents or whatever were going to be late, and there's nothing I could do because it was sent by CityLink. And luckily it didn't have any negative impact on me or anything, but I remember that. It's like, you can just never tell with these things, can you? You just have to.
Yeah. Did they honor the delivery? Did they deliver them?
Eventually the stuff got delivered. Some of it got delivered pretty quickly, but some of it took weeks. I think the last of the stuff got delivered like by the 3rd week of January. Yes. So people were waiting from like like a pretty much.
I expect they did a deal with another firm to
complete the
wow,
to complete them. Yeah.
Someone was thanking you for a tip there. ETYK85. Thanks, Z, for the tip on the helicopter. I sold it for 210 from £40.
Oh, that's lovely. That was a Kyosho helicopter that I think he picked up. He shared that in the TATCHAT, I think.
Wow.
RC helicopter. Nice flip.
Yeah, great flip. That
Fantastic. Yeah. Oh gosh, what other comments have we had come in? Lisa Fenn says, I went to visit my dad today in hospital. First time I've seen him since he's up. He looks dreadful. I'm so shocked at how weak he is. Oh, that's such a shame to hear. Hopefully he's come out of the operation okay, though. It's always tough to see stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully he'll get himself built up and back on track.
Definitely. Karin says, finally sold that brass Rupert I showed everyone on the Facebook page in August. Good to hear. Good to hear. Richard Payne says, I used InPost 2Z. Luckily, I had nothing in the lockers when they went bust. Still use them now for some stuff delivered via UK mail. InPost is a really good idea for a service. It just means that you can, if you've got a locker near you, just scan it in, drop it in. It's the ultimate no hassle service. It's just a shame that they're quite, that I haven't got lockers that near me up here. Down south, I had lockers very close to me everywhere, and I thought they were quite a good service.
So you use the locker to drop it off?
Yeah, they've got lockers around. So what happens is
Amazon ones around here where
people can collect stuff. Yeah, it's the same with InPost. You take your parcel. The lockers scan the label on your parcel, and it opens up. They've got all different sizes of lockers, and then you just shove it in there, and that's the end of it. So really cool. It's like a self-service, basically. George Ross says, made another sale on my Facebook business page today. 400 quid with 0% fees. See, that is fantastic. Direct sales, there is a market for it. There's just no doubt.
Yeah, I suppose it depends what you're selling to an extent, but if you can attract the right people to your page that want the stuff. I spoke to you, Zaheer, about that. I experimented recently using Facebook ads, and
yeah,
it was for something unconnected, but it got it in front of thousands of people that wanted to see it, and that was the point. And with very little outlay, you could, I think it would have to be like a £400 item, for example, but you could promote that yourself by paying Facebook to promote the listing.
Completely.
It's like a business model in itself.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I know that eBay are now offering that service just within eBay. So why limit yourself to just why give quite a hefty percentage in some instances just to promote yourself on eBay's website when the chances are to reach as many buyers as possible? The best place really has to be Facebook, surely, or Instagram, or places like that. I mean, I think that's, and there's a lot of sellers now, especially over in the States, that make real good use of Instagram, especially, and that's the reach you're going to have there, and for a lot less money is going to be so much bigger than just on eBay.
Oh, I just had a notification that you're live an hour.
Oh, really? Oh, that's pretty good.
That's
pretty good. That's not bad. Oh, Hicksy's just popped in as well. Hi, Steve. We have actually run over now.
We have, yeah, I just noticed.
Yeah.
There was someone, just quickly, I think it's an interesting topic, maybe for another time we'll go into it a bit more. Sib K was saying, do you think Amazon will launch its own delivery service, not just for Amazon deliveries? I'm not sure they'll ever go that route, because the amount of money you'd have to invest to set up that as an infrastructure. And also, at the moment, using Royal Mail and other firms, I don't know, that if something goes wrong, Royal Mail had to sort it out for them. And I would imagine that Amazon are covered, so it's almost like when it leaves their warehouses, they're done. Whereas if they're covering all of the delivery as well, it just adds a whole extra layer that they have to.
And how much would they make out of a delivery, even though they've got infrastructure there? I mean, like you said, it's just, that I think they're just going to continue to to grow the way they are, aren't they? And just,
I mean, who knows what plans they've got? I mean, if
yeah,
anyone's going to do it, it'll be Amazon.
yeah, exactly.
But I think the Royal Mail are struggling as it is to make money out of it. So
yeah, exactly. So to see them taking that on, I mean, Electronic Firing Squad says Amazon will eventually kill their marketplace. They will use wholesalers and fill their warehouses with that stock, charge those wholesalers. They will kill US Post by dropping shipping contracts. Well, that's a pretty grim read of the future there, EFS, but obviously you're going to be much more aware of how things are affecting those businesses over in the States. But yeah, they are, I mean, it's quite unique though, isn't it, the way that they're spread into so many different aspects of retail and and just online sales. They're pretty much in, it's all new, isn't it, really, to many people. So and that's what makes it so hard to judge like how it's going to pan out, because who else has done what they've done before they did it.
Exactly. And the thing is with Amazon, the amount of revenue they have now, the amount of money they've got behind them, it's mind-boggling. So if anybody wanted it, like what I was saying before, was if anyone's going to do it, it'd be Amazon. They are such a rich company now. It's insane.
Yeah.
I just saw Karen Fisher said cheapest courier for 20-kilo parcel. I'd probably go UPS on that.
Yeah. I use UPS a fair bit now, to be honest, because I think they on shuttle it costs you what, $5.65. I think that should pretty much cover you for up to 20 kilos. I'm not sure over 20 kilos, but it might be. I think it goes up to 30 kilos, but I'm not sure. The cost that I think does go up when you go above, I think it's 15 kilos or something. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, but shuttle's pretty good for that. And yeah, 565 I send for most of the things. I've sent like 10-15 kilo packages, which is pretty cool. Lisa Fenn says I still haven't had a notification.
Dave wow. just got in at 7, so he's catching the last few minutes.
Oh, I'm really sorry for the notification. For those who've only just gotten the notification, I've seen we've had little spike in viewers, 120 odd people in there now. Yeah, can't believe YouTube, as big as it is, can't sort out notifications. Yeah, I mean, I think I'll take the hit for that one. If I'd maybe created the event earlier, perhaps it would have. No, I created the event hours ago.
Yeah, that doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
And the notification goes out when you go live.
Yeah, that's what it's meant to do, right?
Supposedly, but they never do.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Oh, actually, that's the item that no, that's not the item that I'm getting that story for. I'll share the story actually on the TATCHAT later. I'll pop it on there. Cool. The story I've had.
Well, should we wrap this one up?
Yes, I think we should. It's 7:12 now. Thank you everybody for joining us. I know there wasn't like a specific topic, but just chatting about bits that come into your head when you're doing this, I suppose, isn't it, Nick?
Yeah, it's things that come up whilst you're a tat monkey.
It was a TATCHAT.
Exactly.
It was a TATCHAT. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think these chats work just as a catch up, and we can address questions. But it is nice sometimes when we have a specific subject we can go into in depth. So who knows? Next week maybe we'll have a subject.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a mystery.
We'll see.
Keep it interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Keep people guessing. Thank you everybody for joining us. We appreciate it so much. If you enjoyed the chat, smash the thumbs up button. It's appreciated. Dave, it's not cold. It's fine. Yeah, well, it does feel weird. You know what? The one thing is, Rebecca's just been randomly coming up to me, rubbing my head. Like it's like a favorite thing to do now. It's just
have you got one of those little levers that makes your eyes move on the back of your head? You should have. I just want to say, usually when the TATCHAT is on Zaheer's channel, I try and get a guest on a Thursday show. Yeah. Haven't nailed someone down to the Thursday yet. But I am hoping to be doing a Thursday guest show. So yeah. keep your eyes peeled for the notification that will come in an hour late.
Superb. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you in the next videos.
Yeah, take care. Cheers to here.